Meanwhile, Mississippi taking matters into its own hands to put more money in the pockets of residents. The governor signing an historic bill this week to abolish the state's income tax, becoming the 10th state in the nation to eliminate income tax. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive is the governor of Mississippi, Tate Reeves. Governor, great to have you this weekend. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Maria. It's great to see you, and it's a great day to be an American, and it's a great day to be a Mississippian.
Well, this bill has been in the works for 15 years. Tell us what it will mean for the Mississippi economy.
Well, this is, Maria, this is our one big, beautiful bill in Mississippi. We've been working to cut taxes and moving towards eliminating the income tax, and I was finally able to sign a bill into law this week that over time gets us to accomplish exactly that goal. In Mississippi, we believe government ought to take less so that our people get to keep more of their money.
And when you look at other states that have no income tax, you've seen a huge surge of individuals moving from high tax states to low tax states or no income tax states. Is that what you're expecting?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you see not only economic growth in those states with no income tax, you also see population growth in those states. And we think we have a beautiful state in Mississippi. We've got a beautiful coastline on the Gulf of America. And I will just tell you that we have seen significant economic growth over the last 5 years. We've seen over $30 billion in new capital investment flowing to our state. And we think by eliminating our income tax, we're going to see not only more income and capital flow into our state. We think we're going to see more people flow into our state, and so it's an opportunity for us to be more competitive on the national landscape, and we think it's going to work beautifully.
So Mississippi becomes, I believe, the 10th state. The other states that do not have income taxes is Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee. Tennessee, a lot of people moved there over the pandemic. I know that there was a lot of Republicans that moved from the West Coast over to Tennessee, to Nashville in particular. Texas, obviously we know Texas, Washington, and Wyoming, okay? Now Mississippi becomes the 10th state to not have income taxes, which is an absolute boon for the state. So let me break this down from a C student's perspective, and then we're going to share the rest of what my breakdown and analysis is on the Millionaire Morning Show tomorrow so that you guys can be informed and that we can have a full-scale understanding of whether or not you should invest in Mississippi or not. Now, me personally, I love Mississippi, and we'll get back to this video shortly. I love Mississippi because Mississippi it has Biloxi, right? I'm a fan of Biloxi. I fly down Biloxi. I said the Beau Rivage. The Beau Rivage is a mini Bellagio. And then you have 5 other casinos all around there that is very entertaining. The people are great. We have the drive down at the coast. I forgot what the name of it is, so I go down there for that. And Biloxi is a place that I actually go and visit and vacation at when a lot of times people are on spring break. They run down to Florida. They run down to some other place. I go to Biloxi, Mississippi, because I believe that Biloxi is actually an awesome place to vacation at. I'll come back to that in a second. But I think that Mississippi is going to boom. It has largely been a aircraft, military town slash Navy slash, maybe not Navy, but Air Force town. And maybe I'll be looking to invest some money down in Mississippi because I think that it's a huge opportunity down there. Usually when I stay in Biloxi, it's only an hour drive, less than an hour drive to get over to New Orleans so that I don't have to stay in Louisiana per se. But the reason that no state income tax actually benefits the state, which liberals do not understand, liberals that live over in Los Angeles, liberals that live in New York, liberals that live in Democratic strongholds in Colorado, for example, they don't understand it is because what it does is it invites commerce, it invites business, it invites people to the state that has no income tax, which generally usually causes more small businesses, it spurs more economic activity, it inspires people to invest more inside of the state, and they build more, which then creates an economy within itself. So the more government that is removed, which Republicans are for less government, the more opportunity arise that hasn't, where you can create new industries that basically allows for people to thrive, lower the cost of living, For example, I'll give you a major example. Usually, some markets of NBA teams are able to entice certain players to come to their market because they then can get a better contract because they don't have to pay any state income tax, right? Texas is huge for that. San Antonio, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, all of those teams, they don't pay state income tax. Now, the opposite of that is that every state that they play in, they still have to pay taxes for that because that's just a clause that's inside of their contract, but they don't have to pay income tax. But it spurs economic activity, which then forces other states to have to compete, right? So when you have other states that then have to play a role in whether or not their citizens are successful, or you have an influx of people coming into another state because they're leaving your state because it's a brain drain, or it's not good for business, or they don't entice people to come there, or it's not enough economic activity, or they don't have a specific opportunities for certain people, right? Some places are hubs for technology. Other places are hubs for construction or the military or all of these other specific industries that thrive there. Texas obviously is a hub for oil. It has been a boom bust state for oil. And these industries then can thrive because they create businesses which spur other businesses that then depend on them in order to be successful. And that's one of the reasons why you want to remove and you want to have less government regulation, more opportunity for people, and then they're able to thrive. And so when people say they want more taxes or tax the rich, Mississippi's and state like it is actually removing the taxes, which creates more opportunity for the people that then move there or live there for them to be able to pour more into themselves or more into their businesses. Let's get back into this because I want to hear what the governor has to say, and then we'll go from there.
It's just incredible. And I love that you referred to the Gulf of America. I've talked to President Trump about his own tax cut plan. And one question I always ask him is, how are you going to offset? If you're going to cut taxes and eliminate the income tax like you're doing it, where does the revenue come from?
Well, I've talked to the president about his desires to cut taxes as well. And for us in Mississippi, you got to know where we start from. We're going to collect about $7.8 billion in total revenue this year. And our current budget spends just barely over $7 billion. So we have a $750 million annual surplus in the state of Mississippi. And so I believe that if you allow government to keep that $750 million surplus, they will find a way to spend it.
Yep.
But I think it's better for your economy to let individual Mississippians spend more of their money, which will then grow the economy. So the combination of more capital investment in our state, more job creation in our state, more income growth through per capita income growth, which Mississippi is in the third quarter of 2024 was the fourth fastest growing per capita income growth in all of America. We're going to see significant economic output in our state. And that's going to lead to us being able to fund the necessary services in government while also letting our people keep more of their own money.
So basically what he's saying is we shouldn't look at government as a business in itself, right? Government should be enabled based off of the needs of the people. So what he's saying is that we've already been operating like a surplus, unlike a place like Maryland where Wes Moore is running the state into the ground. He's saying we already didn't had a surplus. So we had more than the $2.2 billion that we take in from income taxes. We had a surplus in our budget, which means that you need to be running below what you need, right? The budget without the surplus, so let's say that they was at $9 billion, basically with the $2.2 billion in income tax projected, okay? But they're only spending $7 billion in order to run the state. And they need to probably continue to work towards minimizing the amount that they're spending or needing to spend to run the state. And you need it for basic infrastructure, police officers, sheriffs, paving the roads, whatever, right? Whatever it is that they got in their budget. I don't know Mississippi specifically like that, but you have to make sure that you fund the government. But if you're running below the amount that you need, then you start to say, well, wait a minute. How can we give more to the people? How can we spur more economic activity, which will then drive demand? And it will drive more businesses and more people to want to move there, which then raises more revenue so that you can even cut more, you can cut deeper, right? You can tax the people less so that they'll be able to have a better lifestyle and a better way of spending in order to create more economic activity for your state. They're running at $7 billion. Without the income taxes, they'd still be at $7 billion. They'd still be at $7.8 billion, which means you still have an $800 million surplus give it back to the people, and then compete more against the other 40 states that don't have an income tax.
Well, that is terrific. And like President Trump, it sounds like you're counting on growth. And that growth will create the revenue that I'm referring to. Look, the president is pushing to cut taxes on a national level. By downsizing the IRS, he's creating this external revenue service, replacing income tax on U.S. citizens with tariffs on foreign countries. Just this week, the president announced a new round of levies on foreign-made cars. Watch.
We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States.
Governor, auto manufacturing, one of the top sectors in Mississippi, with more than 200 auto manufacturers and over 500,000 vehicles produced in the state every year. How are these tariffs going to affect your state?
Positively, probably.
Well, Maria, there's no shortage of opinions as with respect to President Trump's tariff proposals. But let me tell you what our experience has been in Mississippi over the last couple of months. We've had tremendous success since I've been governor now over 5 years of not only investment from American companies, but also direct foreign investment. What we've seen over the last couple of months is our deal flow and our potential deals in our economic development shop have never been greater. We are seeing potential investments from countries all over the world because they're going to produce more in America. We've seen companies that are headquartered here that maybe are doing manufacturing in other parts of the world that are looking to bring those manufacturing operations back on shore. The fact of the matter is that we have the potential for a manufacturing boom in America, and Mississippi is better positioned than most states because we never gave up on manufacturing. That's what we do in Mississippi. We make stuff, and we make it really, really well. And so these proposed tariffs and what they have meant to our deal flow has been nothing but positive. And I will tell you, I've got a team going overseas literally this weekend. This will be the third trip to a foreign country in the last 3 weeks. There are lots of opportunities out there for governors and for those in states that want to see manufacturing relocate in the United States. And that's been our experience.
Wow.
So if your governor, if the person that's in your state, Gavin Newsom, potentially Kamala Harris, Kathy Hochul over in New York and so on and so forth, if they can't benefit and financially grow Westmore over in Maryland, depending on the federal government in order to subsidize the people's lifestyle, if you can't benefit from it, then that means that you're a trash governor. So states that are willing to compete, that can benefit off of this manufacturing, I think that Michigan is going to be one of the hubs that boom. It's going to be so much money, y'all. It's going to be so much money over these next 3.5 years. And if we can elect another Republican president and control all three houses, it's going to be so much money that is booming and flowing throughout the United States of America as a result of this. It won't be funny. It's going to be crazy the amount of money that you can make. You have to figure out where you can benefit from it. We're going to talk about it on the Millionaire Morning Show tomorrow. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.